You don't have to let the banks decide what's in the best interest of you. What you can do is you can figure out what makes the most sense for you, and then you can just take it.
Stuff, but it breaks my heart to see what's happened in this country.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We got to help. We got to reach out and help. There's people. I mean, what was her name? Phyllis Walsh, that we were doing the forum. She committed suicide because she was alone. I mean, there's people in your neighborhood that are struggling.
Our neighbors, a family of 3, packed up and moved out because they didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They just said, "Uncle."
Financial Revival Group is here. We actually do care. Terry is in the office at 9 o'clock at night. She's in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you think she's getting rich on this? No. We're doing this because we care and we're fighting back. So we need your help. We need your help to reach out. And if there's somebody in your community, in your family that needs help, send them our way. And you know what? If we can't help them, we'll find somebody who can. You know, this is not like a pride thing. You know, we just want to get the information out there. So enough of my rant. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I hope that I was able to give you some valuable information. You can give us a call anytime you have a question or something. We're here to help you guys. And I hope I got all your questions. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Well, there's retention options. That would be, you know, forbearance. Sometimes they'll take the amount, you know, those late fees and whatnot, and they'll toss them on the back end of the loan. Restatement, reinstatement, repayment plan, modification. Then other options that we call non-retention options would be to sell your home via short sale, deed in lieu, deed for lease. And I'm not going to go into detail today on each of these, but those are, you know, some of the other options. And then there's also the cash for keys option, and then there's HAFA, which is a program that if you qualify, you can potentially get $3,000 relocation. So really, in terms of the mediation process, the sky's the limit. I mean, we can entertain whatever. And one of the things we try to do is I will have a strategy meeting with you, and we will do good, better, best. You know, what's your first, you know, the best choice, middle, and then what's our bottom line. And then we put together a strategy. I'll pass this around. This was the Attorney General letter. Let's go ahead and take a look and pass it around. Mediation is basically an opportunity for the homeowner and the bank to sit at the table with a third-party state-appointed mediator. If you receive a notice of default on an owner-occupied property, and there's a few other stipulations too, but you know, when we go through, we'll check. You've got to be dealing with a beneficiary that's not exempt, and there's some other parameters. But basically, what it says is if you have an owner-occupied property, not an investment property, but an owner-occupied property, and you receive a notice of default, you qualify for the state mediation program. And then the process is you contact a housing counselor or an attorney to get a referral into the program. We happen to be able to do the attorney referral now because we have a network of attorneys, and now we have an in-house attorney that's doing that for us. And then once you get into the program, you are going to be, the Department of Commerce will then appoint a mediator to oversee the whole process. So, and essentially the process really reflects your modification process. It's the same paperwork, the last 2 pay stubs, your last 2 years income tax, and so on and so forth. So it's really reflective of the modification process. But the difference is you have a state mediator that sort of holds the bank's feet to the fire. And the process can take no less than 70 days. And often we're finding it takes significantly longer. And actually, we'd like to bump up that 20% rate, because if we bump up the 20% rate, it's already taking longer. It's going to take even more, even longer than that. It's interesting to note that Josh Trumbull, an attorney over at Staffney, talked to opposing counsel, and opposing counsel says the banks hate this because they cannot foreclose if you are in mediation. until they get a certificate of completion. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But you're going to get that notice of default. That triggers your right. You can get the referral, like I say, up to 20 days after that notice of trustee sale is recorded. One of the things we're going to do, we're going to look and we're going to determine whether the beneficiary is exempt or not. 250 foreclosures in a given year in the state is exempt. And so we have to check, we have a list and we check against that. So the next step is going to be to actually send a referral to the Department of Commerce, and we have a form that we send. It's an official form. We send that to the attorney reviews it, and then they sign it, and then we send it off. And then within usually about 48 hours, you're going to get a notice of referral from the Department of Commerce that lets you know, yeah, you qualify for the program and you are now in. Within 23 days, on that notice, there's going to be a date. That starts your mediation timeline. And 23 days from that date, you have to get your borrower documents in. And we will send them to the mediator, because the mediator at that time will be appointed and they'll be on your notice of referral. You'll have all the parties relative to the mediation on the notice. You have to get those documents to the mediator, to the opposing counsel on the other side for the beneficiary. And I usually CC them to the attorney that referred and then, of course, to you, the borrower. And then when they receive those, then the lender has 20 days to respond with their packet. You send borrower documents, and then the bank, within 20 days of receiving those documents, then they send documents, which those are going to include a lot of the documents that you guys find in your QWRs. You know what the QWR, qualified written requests, where you send the letter asking the bank to produce certain documents. Terry a lot of times helps out with that. One of the results of this whole process can be a certificate of bad faith. If the bank at any time doesn't negotiate in good faith, doesn't return doesn't return that beneficiary document package, there can be a variety of reasons. The mediator can issue a certificate of bad faith, which can set you up for litigation,